Hi, this is DIY Manual. Today we're going to be installing our above ground pool. This is a Bestway 14 by 8 feet. This is an oval pool, 39.5-inch deep. We got this thing last year for the quarantine, and this is going to be our second year. So let me show you how to install this easily. This is the ladder handle. We already assembled it last time, so we have this thing. I just did not completely disassemble it. Up. The pool. Support it. Okay, here's the ladder. We're installing the ladder. So if you install the ladder, you notice this have an A and a B side. Make sure you follow that because it has like a notch. I cannot show that to you anymore, but there's like a notch under where it actually stay in place. So once you put it on, that's it. You cannot pull it out anymore. So make sure you look at that A and B side. Everything, you can tighten it by hand. You don't need any tools to do it. Okay, so to get started, make sure the place is clean. You have to make sure that there's no sharp objects that could puncture the bottom of your pool. So I like this turf that I put in because it actually provides cushion to the pool. Okay, so once you have the area cleaned and set up, first thing you want to do is put the pool how you want to set up, where you want it. And then after that, you have to line up all the frame around it. Okay, so let's get started. Let's see how long this will take us. Okay, so this is how we're going to build it. I don't have the labels anymore in my frames because I have painted over it after our first use. But if you look at your frames, you can actually see this is letter A. You see the holes here, and you have the connector here, the same thing as this. This is the letter A, and this are the letter D. You also have the hole for where you put your footing, and you only have one connector here. And then on the other side is where you attach to frame A, to the A frame. Okay, so you have four D's, you have two A's, and then after that you're gonna have, these are the letter C's. This is the one that goes around the corner of the pool. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4 on each side. And then you'll have the letter E over here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 E's. And you have the F's. You have 4 F's. Okay, so I'm gonna put it together again. So the difference between the E and the F is the hole right here. The F is have a oval hole, it's a larger hole. The E's only have the small little hole. Then you have 4 U frame for the side support. That's your footing. And then you have 10 straight poles for the footing as well. Okay, so let us start putting them together. Okay, so all the frames around is now installed. Next is we need to install the footing. Okay, so I forgot to pull out the flaps here. So make sure that all the straight poles will be inside this belt, and then under it you should see a flap. So that's where you're supposed to put this thing. So let's do that right now. This is what's going to provide that uh, stability to your pool. So if you don't have this thing installed properly, or if you Okay, so let's go over what we did. So put up all the frame. Make sure your footing, the straight footing, is behind this belt or inside this belt. Okay, so that will provide extra support for the pool once the pool is getting filled with water. Same thing here. This thing goes under. It's usually under when you open the pool, especially opening it for the first time. So you need to make sure you pull it from under. There's like a flap there, okay, and put this U-frame footing inside that. Okay, so that will also provide the stability for the pool once it's filled up with water. And in addition, I also prepared this. These are 12 by 16. I'm gonna put it under the footing so that when it gets wet, this will provide extra base. This is not gonna damage the tarp that I have. So this is a 12 by 16, but actually I made this thing before we even got the pool. You can go by 8 by 8 or 10 by 10. That's all you need for this one. And also I have a wider one here. This is a 12 by 24. So if you have a 12 by 24 board, that's good enough. That's all you need for that. So you need at least an 8 by 8 here and at least a 12 by 24. Okay, so next will be to put this thing. It's basically just put in the hole. This is the Camp Connect where you put your chlorine tablets. So this thing goes to A. So you'll see there's a letter here. There's an A, and there's a B, and another B right here. So this one goes to A. Just basically push it down. This one goes to B. Next will be to put your pipe, your hose. Next will be to install the pump. As you can see, I still have the old pump. A lot of reviewer for this pool complains that the pump doesn't do what it needs to do, that it's not strong enough for the size of the pool. Actually, if you look at the pump capacity, it's 530 gallons per hour. So this pool have at least 2,000 gallons full. So um, in order for the pool to be cleaned, you need to have a 2 full complete turnovers. So the pump needs to run at least 8 hours in order for your pool to remain clean. So I had this last year, never really had problem with it. It was able to clean the pool. The trick is to make sure that your water is properly balanced. You need to have your pH um, properly balanced at around 7.2 to 7.6, and you need to have chlorine treatment constantly so you will not have any algae growth. So for this year, I'm gonna have this. This is gonna be my first filter. So I'll just drop it here, uh, close it. Open the release valve. This is the air release. So as you fill this with water, the water should come out here to make sure there's no air left inside of it. The filter that came with it have a letter. So A goes to this, to the uh, basically this is the out, and then this is the ins. This is a B side. So this thing goes. Okay, so we're now ready to put water in it. This time I'm gonna use this filter to filter the water. Okay, so we are now ready to fill it up with water. We're starting it. You have to make sure that you see right now there's a lot of wrinkle in it, and as you fill it up with water, you wanna straighten them out. So you need to have somebody go inside and start walking and pushing those sides out. I'm also going to start putting in the base to the foot. So as the water's getting filled up, I have to like move it around, move it or pull it every about 15 minutes. So at this point, 2.5 hours, water about 2 feet, or the water about a foot and a half. You want to make sure that you have all your posts properly put in, because at this point, it's going to become really heavy and you won't be able to move that anymore. So I just make my last adjustment. I'm gonna try to adjust it again um, in the next 15 minutes, but uh, the post is becoming heavy now for me, so I'm not a strong guy. So if you're a big guy, you'll probably be able to adjust it until it's almost full. And you can see right now there's like a little bend. As it gets filled up, that thing should straighten out a little. Okay, so once the water goes above that filter output, what you want to do is I open it already. I air out the filter to make sure that there's no air left inside, and then basically just turn it on so you can start filtering the water, and click reset. Okay, now if you look over here, you can see the water coming out already. That's good. So I'll leave it running until this pool gets full, but I'm gonna turn it off because I don't want it running overnight so that the water doesn't get too cold. Okay, so this is day 2. We put up the pool yesterday and put a shock overnight. You can see right now the water's clear. The water's really clear. Um, there's some bugs in there, but the water's nice. There's no more tint of cloudiness from yesterday. So very good. So now the job now is to make sure that the water is balanced. We need to make sure that the pH and the alkaline is properly balanced so that we can keep this clarity in the water.